Oh hey, didn't see you there. Oh, I was just playing some Skyward Sword. And playing through the story, it really got me thinking. Now, before Ocarina of Time in 1988, like, Zelda didn't really have a connected story. But it's pretty clear that afterwards, Nintendo wanted to try and have a sort of connected timeline. And so we get to this very peculiar situation where Nintendo has their own timeline and it's a little weird and doesn't really make the most sense to me. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna make my own. So this is my fucking timeline.
You gotta understand, I am a slut for continuity. So my timeline doesn't really start any different from Nintendo's. Obviously Skyward Sword comes first, talking about the Legend of Zelda and Link, and the story of how the Master Sword became the Master Sword. And then followed up by Minish Cap and Four Swords. But the first blasphemous change that I decided to make is I think Four Sword Adventures belongs right after Four Swords. I mean, it makes sense. It explains the relation between Vati and Ganon. Now, some of you fucking nerds might ask, well, where did this fucking Ganon come from? Isn't Ganon just Ganondorf's final form? And to that I say, no. This is a completely different Ganon. It's essentially just like Demise again, but in pure Ganon form. Next up, Link to the Past. Now, Ganon in Link to the Past is the same Ganon as Four Swords Ganon, but now he gets ultimately defeated by the actual Master Sword, not the Four Sword, the actual Master Sword. And then A Link Between Worlds happens a couple decades later, and now comes Ocarina of Time. Ganondorf is a new reincarnation, completely different from the last Ganon, who was completely defeated, just like Demise was in Skyward Sword. So from here, my timeline only splits into two, which makes a lot more sense than the three those suckers at Nintendo thought up. Now, my two split timelines are very, very originally named, alright? You ready? Child and Adult Timeline. Yeah, that's right. Breaking new ground here. Now, we'll start with my favorite, the Adult Timeline. In the Adult Timeline, Link gets to live out the rest of his life cutting grass and eating Zora ass. At some point in Hyrule's history, Wind Waker happens and they flood the shit out of everything. And from there, Phantom Hourglass happens and they discover a new continent where Spirit Tracks and Triforce Heroes happens. Alright, so now that the where the fuck do these games go in the timeline bit is over, now we have the fun part. Starting off is obviously Majora's Mask. I mean, it's literally the sequel to Ocarina of Time. What did you expect? A goddamn CDI game? Unsuccessful in his attempt to find Navi, Link is called by the Triforce to the Oracle games. After completing the Oracle games, Link returns to his search for Navi, but unfortunately dies and turns into the hero Shade from Twilight Princess, which of course is next. Sometime after Twilight Princess, a new young Link is cast into a deep sleep and has to do Link's Awakening. Unbeknownst to him, while asleep... Who's there? Did you ever hear the tragedy of Princess Zelda the First? I thought not. It's not a story the Hylians would tell you. It's a Gerudo legend. So yeah, basically the Prince of Hyrule is jealous of Zelda or something and then puts her to sleep because he got tricked by a wizard. And then, yeah, so Zelda is in a magical sleep, and after Link wakes up from his little nappy nap, he runs into Impa and has to go collect the pieces of the Triforce to go and wake Zelda. And that's the plot of Zelda 1 and 2, by the way. And then finally, after thousands and thousands and thousands of years, Breath of the Wild happens. And then Breath of the Wild 2, presumably. See, isn't that much better? Nintendo, I'll give you this one for free. But if this video gets 1,000 likes, I will organize every single mainline Mario game, 2D and 3D, into one timeline. It's probably never gonna happen, but if it does, it'll be a lot of fucking fun. So what did you think? Does my timeline make sense? Did I miss something? Did I make just the dumbest fucking mistake ever? Let me know. criticize me, make fun of me for being an idiot. I don't care. As long as you like, subscribe, and watch all my other videos. Then you have permission to be slightly mean. Not abusive mean, but slightly mean. Thanks so much for watching. If you couldn't tell, I have a little bit of a cold. It's not COVID. I am double vaxxed. It's not COVID though. I've had COVID before. It's not COVID. I can taste, I can smell. It's all good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what I missed. Let me know how dumb I am. And I'll see you guys next time.